inside. And it sucked! I know they're supposed to be, and it's fine to have them be that way, but don't have long, drawn-out scenes of just them on screen. And when I'm sitting there in the movie theater like, this movie feels like it's been on for 3 hours, and I check the time and it's been on for 1 hour, I'm done. Much as this, where critics and the public would give it such massive backlash again and again and again with every new announcement they make about it, plus the fact that it actually does collect a whole bunch of dislikes to the point that it really is pretty impressive when you actually see it on YouTube or any other form of social media.
And now, it's my turn. That's all I have to say about this film I'm going to be reviewing. It's all come down to this. Hey everyone, it's Movie Lover 120 here, and I'm here with a brand new movie review. And before I get started on the rest of this is actually my 1-year anniversary of when I started YouTube. Yeah, so this weekend last year, Movie Lover 120 was born. Yeah. And what's more, on the 1-year anniversary, I've reached 101 subscribers. Yes. Who knew I would be this minorly known YouTuber that started off with just 1 subscriber, or 2 subscribers, and would reach my 1-year anniversary mark with 101. Yeah. Really grown as a YouTuber throughout the year I've had YouTube. But anyway, today I'm going to be doing an angry movie review for a certain animated movie I've been long waiting to bash the hell out of. Yep, this review is for the infamously hated 2017 animated film, The Emoji Movie. Or should I call it The Cancer Movie? Would have been a better title for this pile of cancer. Yep. So, do you all remember the Emoji Movie back in 2017? You know, that one Sony Animation tried so damn hard to promote, got crazy dislikes with each trailer, each news that got uploaded about it. The more hated it got. And it was unnecessarily advertised everywhere, like in McDonald's and Chips Ahoy Christie Lunchable packs. Just everywhere and anywhere you went, it was advertised. Sony really tried hard to make this movie happen. It did not work. When it was released, of course it was panned. It was exactly the shittiest film everyone thought it would be. Sounds like almost 5 years before I'd even started YouTube, almost every YouTube film critic was actually going to see this movie to bash it. just so I could bash the hell out of it. Like, apparently, apparently it didn't even bomb at the box office either. It somehow made over 217 million worldwide, and 24 million on its opening weekend, and 86 million, finished with 86 million domestically. Then again, most of that money was clearly coming from the YouTube film critics that just wanted to go bash it and see how terrible it was. Such as me. Before it even started YouTube. Yes, I even saw this film in the theaters, and even I hated it. Probably the worst movie of 2017. Worse than The Last Jedi? Yes. Worse than The Last Jedi. Even The Last Jedi wasn't this terrible. Or Justice League. Or Justice Week. But anyway, what is the cancer movie about? Well, hidden inside a smartphone, the bustling city of Textopolis is home to all emojis. Each emoji has only one facial expression, except for Jean, an exuberant emoji with multiple expressions. Determined to become normal like the other emojis, Jean enlists the help of this narcissistic, unlikable jerk, hand emoji, named High Five, and a notorious codebreaker called Jailbreak. During their travels through the other apps, the three emojis discover a great danger that could threaten their phone's very existence. Yeah, already sounds like a garbage movie. Anyway, what's it about? I already said what it's about. Here's a list of several reasons why this movie sucks. The basic concept of having a movie based on emoticons is bland and confusing. In fact, the concept just has a botched execution, doesn't even help. It doesn't even feel like a film either. It feels more like some advertisement for phone apps and smartphones, and overloaded with product placements for real-life phone apps like Spotify, WeChat, Facebook, Candy Crush, YouTube, Instagram, and even Just Dance. It also tries to leech off the smartphone popular culture, even though the writers might not have done enough research about smartphone popular culture despite Sony Corporation, the parent company of Sony Pictures Animation that therefore owns the rights to this film, being known for their technology and Xperia smartphones. Like, on topic of that, it made even more blatantly obvious that by the main character Jean introducing smartphones to the audience and then describing how great emojis apparently are in the opening scene, as well as wanting to explain how to play Candy Crush after Jean I5 and Jailbreak arrive there before they begin playing the game to free Jean. In an interview for the film on the official YouTube channel for Sony Animation, director Tony Leonidis stated that he wanted to incorporate real-life apps into the movie. While product placement can be used well in some films, it should be taken into consideration the fact that not everyone is going to like it, as some might assume they are watching an ad instead of a film. And again on that topic, the Emoji Movie clearly knows nothing about phones. And which is ironically coming from a studio whose parent company is better known for their technology and Xperia smartphones. It climaxes when the phone is in the process of its factory reset. Several apps get deleted, but after Alex unplugs the phone, the aforementioned deleted apps get restored? Upon deleting an app, it is permanently gone. There's no way of getting it back. Unless you reinstall it, that is. This movie even portrays teenagers as phone addicts that really refuse to communicate each other aside from text messages, and instead of criticizing this problem, it encourages it. God. And then there's also poor attempts at humor, which often take forever to finish, with many of them coming across as either poorly written, immature, disgusting, or unfunny. One example is this one scene where High Five throws up this candy corn, and then puts it back in his mouth and throwing it up again. Ew. Another insulting and tasteless joke in this scene is where the two main emojis go to this loser lounge, and one emoji depicts a fish cake emoji who sounds like a person with a disability. Many of the jokes even come off as rather stereotypical, like there's this one scene with the monkey emojis in the first act where they begin to act like, well, monkeys after a statement of how they are busy doing monkey business. Even the innuendos are very scummy, like especially one in the beginning with this elephant dashing away emojis was supposed to represent how the elephant is farting. The jokes suffer from being on the nose, with one scene depicting a shrimp emoji joining his fellow emojis in a vehicle, resembling a shrimp cocktail. And perhaps the most unfunny examples of humor hinge in around the one emotion each non-Gene and non-Mel emoji character has to represent. For example, In a scene in the YouTube app, Minnie states, "Don't blame us for me, Mel. I am hopping mad at you, see?" And she makes a more tired face rather than an angry face. Sometimes it can feel awkward and humorous too, like one section with Gene's dialogue. What could a teenager possibly hide from his parents? Yeah, there's this one scene where they literally reference a teenager watching porn in a G-rated movie. Oh, yeah. And then there's this one character where you have the shit emoji who's named Poop. Oh, and this gets better. They miscasted Patrick Stewart as the voice of Poop. No joke, really. Apparently, Stewart himself actually said his casting was meant to be a joke. Hollywood had to, from Professor X and Logan, to playing a pile of crap. Yeah. Just think of that. The story is very predictable and formulaic as it's literally just once again about this outcast character accepts oneself for who they are, features cliches used in other films, especially the never explained reveal of Mel having the same problem as his son. Alongside the fact that there's an ending where everyone has a dance party. More generic stuff too, like even High Five's motivation for joining Gene in his adventure is generic. Because he just wants to be popular again because while High Five's this narcissistic emoji who only cares about fame. Yeah, more like a narcissistic jackass emoji. Jailbreak is an obvious clone of Wild Style from the Lego Movie too, and in terms of personality and character designs, she also serves too much, and common with Olivia Colmar from Overwatch as both characters are notorious hackers. Almost all the emoji characters suffer from several issues such as flat characterizations, only feel emotions they represent. Almost every emoji character has this flaw. Characterization is even inconsistent. Almost every single emoji seems to express other emotions than the one they have to do when they are used on the phone. As a result, the entire plot is basically pointless. Even the film's villain Smiler is inconsistently portrayed. She gives this be yourself advice to her emojis and later sees Gene as a malfunction as he's a multi-expressional emoji. And then, of course, the protagonist, Gene Meh, is an incredibly generic and basic protagonist who wants to fit in but has something that gets in his way. The romantic relationship between Gene and Jailbreak is even forced and bland. The characters even suffer from poor representation. We were supposed to view Smiler as the antagonist, but in real, she's just trying to protect Stratos from being deleted, and Gene is depicted as protagonist, but he feels more like an antagonist because he's responsible for almost all the problems that occurred at the point where he almost caused the entire phone to have its data wiped. All happens that neither Gene or Jailbreak show any mercy for the Just Dance character Akiko Glitter and everyone else who was deleted from existence. And on that topic of sympathizing with the protagonist, it's impossible to even sympathize with that narcissistic jackass hand named High Five, because he's so self-centered and arrogant, and just rude to everybody around him that's not even trying to cause him hell, only caring more about fame. Yeah, you just don't care what happens to him, and you just don't like him. Several scenes are even inappropriate in this film. For a film targeted towards children, especially when Poop nearly utters the word shit before it gets cut away. Too, at several points in the film, there's specific details in the background that kind of feel distracting, like first scene of the film is this riddled with several message bubbles and well, yeah, you get the point. And then there's false advertising. Despite the heavy marketing of Poop on posters and in the trailers, this character only gets like a few lines, which are basically just bad annoying jokes about who he is, and barely even gets to have an important role in the movie whatsoever. Topic of that. There was even more controversy it got. There's this promotional image for the film on Twitter which spoofed the Hulu original series The Handmaid's Tale, which depicted Smars being the series' main character or friend. Because of the themes of that series, the student intent misunderstanding them, it sparked controversy and the tweet got deleted. Even though it was deleted, the damage was already pretty much done. And of course, High Five's subplot is even more pointless because it then literally forgets about it and just focuses on Gene until the end. And of course, there's one part where Jailbreak claims that female emojis are being stereotyped as only princesses and brides. But it falls on its face considering that there are several emojis in the film who are female, and almost none of them are princesses and brides. The voice acting is even shockingly mediocre, even for a Sony animation film. It's nearly everyone constantly underacts. It sounds as if they want to get out of the project. Except for like Maya Rudolph, who basically just goes about overacting, as her role of Smiler. It feels the apparent need to spell random and dated slang, especially when Gina High Five mentioned #truth and #blush, excruciating dialogue. Most of the events of the film are rather pointless, like I've just said. As mostly, the three lead emojis can just go around the apps rather than through them reach your destination, and then none of the apps would have even got deleted either. What makes it even more pointless is that, take consideration that eventually Alex's phone will die, and he'll replace it with a new one, so the phone will get erased anyway. I wish that were the ending anyways. Another large portion of the story, especially the climax, is Alex does not need tech support to wipe his phone. It's more easy to just do it himself. Just press the restart button, and your phone's reset or erased. Ugh. Even worse. What makes this even worse is that since there's this character named Jailbreak, that means Alex jailbroke his phone. His warranty would have been void, which should have prevented him from taking it to Wireless, the phone shop in the movie. This does not seem to be the case here, so yeah, but it would have prevented him from taking it to get erased, and if he did, he probably would have gone to jail in real life. There's even issues with the pacing, as it is a hard time maintaining balance between the four main subplots, focusing on Gene, Alex, Smiler, and Informer's parents, ultimately resulting in several scenes being either too fast or too slow, which is noticeable in the climax, and it happens way too quickly. Similar to another bad animated movie in the 2010s called Food Fight, and unnecessarily references Casablanca, something children would not get. This film even tries to make its audience believe emojis are more important than actual words and that actual words are dumb, which is such a false moral. Especially considering, like, Gene basically mentions how emojis are the most important thing in the history of communications, and Alex's friend later states words aren't cool, which is hypocritical, given the film was obviously written with words. Uneven and uncanny designs for the characters, with Gene resembling a rejected Mike Wazowski from Monsters Incorporated, and Smiler, well, just looking like a horrifying smiling emoji that just smells like no matter what. Feels like some emoji you'd find in a horror film. Dated references to popular culture and internet phenomena, specifically the music video for PPAP by Picocktro, briefly appearing to see it on the YouTube app. And one you can even hear me, one you can also hear Watch Me Whip by Silent to briefly play in the background during the scene of the Spotify app. At one point, the film seems to try to preach to feminism, like with Jailbreak claiming how women always come up with stuff the men are taking credit for. As mentioned above, she also tells Gene that, did you realize that in the first emoji set, a woman can be either a princess or a bride, for assuming that she is a stereotypical princess, which is later retconned when she calls for the Twitter bird later on to save Gene from getting killed, which makes the scene pointless. Then again, most of this whole movie is pointless. And even, this movie even features some anachronisms. Like the hammer emoji appears as a judge's gavel during specific scenes, even resembles Apple's original graphic for the iPhone. While most of the emojis in the film are part of the set standardized by Unicode Toaster, Broom, and Disco Ball were not as of mid-2017, the fortune cookie takeout box emojis were officially added to the Unicode standard in June 2017, a month before the movie came out. So they would not have been on phones during filming, although it's possible that they added them during the last minute. Yeah, those are why this whole movie's just garbage. But there's, I guess, a little redeeming qualities, like many of the other films from Sony Animation. The animation is solid and sometimes even creative. Like, despite the overuse of bland and obvious product placement, the way the animators are able to create the world of the film in the different episodes is well done. An excellent soundtrack for the film composed by Patrick Doyle. In fact, there's actually one good song in the movie called Good Vibrations. Kind of wish that song was not in this movie. Kind of wish it were in a better movie. So decent cinematography. As weak as much of the attempts of humor are, there are some moments that worked, but I don't even care. Or despite the performances of much of the actors being below average, really, there's one decent reference to the Atari game Pong, but despite it feeling a bit out of place, and at least Gene, High Five, Jailbreak, and Mel do get their respective character development by the end of the movie. But other than that, yeah, this is the worst animated movie I've ever seen in my life. Well, worst to go to theaters. But in overall, it'd be the second worst behind Food Fight. And I know some of you have probably avoided this movie, and if you still want to watch this, please don't. It's garbage. It's cancer. It's stupid. It's just this 90-minute advertisement for a phone. That's all it is. So yeah. My review for the cancer movie is finally done, and here's how I would rank it. I am going to give the Emoji Movie a rare 000 out of 10. Well, if there's one good thing to come out of this, at least Sony Animation didn't announce a sequel to it. And at least they thankfully woke up hearing the results of this film and then went on to finally make good films like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Mitchell's vs. the Machines. Then again, this film was made around the time when they did have potential to make good films, except before Into the Spider-Verse they chose not to. There were still some rare good ones like Surf's Up and Collide Shots and Meatballs, but around the 2006 to 2017 era, that was about it. Most of their stuff just sucked. Big time. And this was one of them. And this was the film that pretty much killed the bad Sony Animation we once knew and finally made the good Sony Animation that's now trying to make better movies now. And anyway, if there's one thing I could do, I did wish the emojis did get erased, but hey, wait a minute. Maybe Thanos could take care of that. Thanos, kill away.
I am inevitable.
I don't want to wait.
Thanks, Thanos. That worked. One of the few good things he did. But anyway, that's once again, that'll be it for his 1-year anniversary special Angry Movie Review. Thank you all for watching. And if you like this, want to see more, and don't forget, want to see more videos in the future, and don't forget to keep liking and subscribing to Movie Lover 120.